8-year-old sister goes into seclusion to attack the enemy. Please achieve perfection. Yet she threw you to the big yellow dog at the gate to care for you. However, the big yellow dog was also busy crossing over and had no time to spare. So in a fit of rage, you ran away from home. You directly joined the group of children kidnapped by mountain bandits. Seeing the children crying and whimpering, begging the mountain bandits to spare their lives and let them go, you, the smallest, were the most ambitious one. Don't let me go. My family is rich. Quick, write a letter to my parents. They will surely give you lots of money. The other kids were instantly shocked. This person must be a fool. Please don't implicate me. The bandit chief, the Taoist advisor, was intrigued. What's your name? What do your parents do? Lin Bei immediately blurted out from the child's mouth. Reporting to the king, my family is very wealthy. My grandfather is an emperor, and my mother is an empress. When I grow up, I'll become an emperor too, inheriting the family business. You can't fool me, little dog. Lin Bei became more and more excited as he spoke, yet the bandits were dumbfounded. They then burst into roaring laughter. Ha ha ha, this kid really knows how to brag. Where did so many emperors come from? The bandit chief also laughed uproariously. Why didn't you just say the celestial master of the 9 heavens is your father? No, he's not. Lin Bei shook his head seriously. I know the one you mentioned, Kia Xiaoxu. He's the junior brother of my grand uncle. He's not my father. My father is also a great emperor. The laughter around them stopped abruptly. The bandit chief frowned. He looked toward the goateed military advisor beside him. The military advisor nodded immediately. The celestial master's name is indeed Kia Xiao. The bandit chief was amused by this. Could this kid be telling the truth? The military advisor waved his broken fan. Don't worry, chief. I have a copy of the 9 provinces geographic record we looted last year. It records a lot of information about the cultivation world. Let me check, and we'll know. Saying that, he stroked his goatee lightly. What's your father's name? Lin Bei smiled and said. My father's name is Lin Bixuan. You guys act quickly. I can't wait to let them know I've been kidnapped. He tilted his little head, thinking, my parents aren't in the heaven realm. Neither are my uncles and aunts. The military advisor took out a tattered book. The bandit chief also leaned in to look. Indeed, after just a few pages, they saw the name Lin Beixian, Emperor of the 9 Underworlds. The bandit chief became a bit flustered. He just said his father's name was Lin Bixuan. No, he said it was Lin Bixuan. The advisor quickly corrected him. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief. Not his father. At this moment, Lin Bei spoke up. If you want to ask Lin Beixian for a ransom, that's fine too. He's my grand uncle. But don't ever let my aunt know. Her beatings really hurt. For a moment, the mountain bandits were at a loss for what to do. They all turned their gazes toward the military officer, and the officer was a bit flustered at that moment. He asked the young Lin Bei again. Tell me, what's your mother's name? And your grandfather's name? By this time, Lin Bei was growing impatient. Well, if I tell you, you better remember it. My mother is Quan Shi. And my grandfather is Lin Zhaozu. The military officer hurriedly flipped through his book, rustling the pages. Luzuri of the 9 realms, Lin Zhaozu. The current patriarch of the Lin clan of the Zhuangqi realm, default realm. The head bandit immediately exclaimed. Taking in a breath of cold air, Float Light Grandmaster, Chen Qishi. Wife of the 9 Springs Grandmaster. Daughter-in-law of the Zuri Grandmaster. Her father is the demonic Grandmaster of the underworld, Chen Zhu Tu. Several bandits were so frightened that they plopped down on the ground. The old military officer wiped the sweat from his brow and cried out. Even if the kid is lying, he knows the names of these great figures. At the very least, it shows his family is no ordinary one. Meanwhile, Lin Bei was impatiently urging them. So are you going to write the ransom note or not? Pay up. Come on, be professional about this, will you? If not, I have one more surname to give you. Finally, the military officer waved his broken fan with one hand and with the other, drew a line across his own neck. This child cannot be kept alive. The head bandit suddenly came to his senses. He turned to look at the dozen or so children in the camp. That's right, the others can't be kept alive either. But then Lin Bei came bounding over. Great king, quickly take this jade pendant from my chest. Then write a letter with it to him. He tilted his little head, thinking. My dad and mom aren't in the celestial realm. My uncles and aunts aren't here either. It seems no one from my family is around. That's actually why I chose to come play in the celestial realm. Just send it to that realm lord, the autumn fairy then. Have her find a way to get it to my dad, so he can pay the ransom. Lin Bei grinned inwardly. Let's see if that stinky old dad still ignores me. Upon hearing Lin Bei's words, the head bandit quietly instructed his second in command. That jade pendant looks pretty valuable. Take it first, then kill him. The second in command nodded. He then drew out a butcher knife and viciously charged forward. But then a brilliant light shot up from the jade pendant. A fierce sword aura burst forth from it, directly slicing the second in command in two. Everyone fell silent. The head bandit bowed his head and said loudly, My apologies, young master, I momentarily forgot myself. It wasn't intentional, I swear. The head bandit gulped down some saliva, not daring to speak. Seeing this, Lin Bei just got up himself. He casually tossed aside the ropes binding him. Then he took off the jade pendant himself. He stepped forward a few paces and on tiptoe, placed it on the high table. The men hurriedly backed away, fearful of provoking the sword aura. After setting down the jade pendant, Lin Bei ran back to pick up the ropes. He obediently put his hands behind his back and squatted down. His large, lonely eyes looked pleadingly. Please, hurry up and write the ransom note. The military officer gulped down a big mouthful of saliva. This kid seems to be making a fool of me. The head bandit silently nodded. But just at that moment, a group of people suddenly flew in on swords from the horizon. Lin Bei sighed. Guess the fun is over. He flicked his finger, and the jade pendant on the table flew straight back to him. The head bandit was instantly alarmed. Without thinking, he drew out a 9-ring greatsword and charged forward. You little brat! Hand over that jade pendant. But in the next moment, the head bandit collapsed a few steps away. His head left behind where he had stood. For celestial maidens in flowing robes descended from above. 3 of them began beheading the bandits, swiftly massacring everyone in the room in an instant. The last one, a woman in pink robes, approached Lin Bei. She bent down and scooped him up in her arms. Young master, you've run off again. Lin Bei pouted unhappily. Sister Mai, how did you find me again? The beautiful Mai poked Lin Bei's forehead with a slender jade finger. Your Highness, do you even need to ask? If we couldn't find you, we ladies would be punished by the Empress for failing our duty. All right then, I'll go back with you, Lin Bei said with a pitiful pout, his forlorn look making the ladies laugh. Who said anything about going back? We have been commanded by your father, the 9 Springs Emperor, to escort you this time to the Blue Star Realm in the Milky Way province. Lin Bei's eyes instantly lit up. Really? Why do I need to go to the Blue Star Realm? Mai laughed. To go pursue ladies. Lin Bei just stared blankly. But I'm only 5 years old. The other 3 ladies couldn't help but burst into laughter. The Empress said the same thing. One of them replied. But the 9 Springs Emperor insists that this is something you must practice from a young age. Otherwise, you won't be able to find a wife when you're older. Don't blame anyone else if that happens. Lin Bei's face fell. Who exactly am I supposed to pursue? Why would I want to pursue her? Girls are no fun at all. Mai smiled faintly. Well, you see, this was actually your grandfather's idea. According to the predictions of the Zuri Grand Master, in the coming Battle of the Great Celestial Keys 10 years from now, there will be 3 sources of the Great Celestial Key in our 9 realms. One is possessed by our Lin clan. In other words, it already resides within you. Another is at the Academy of Profound Studies. That place, even the Zuri Grand Master cannot interfere with. The final source is located in Blue Star Street of the Milky Way province, and belongs to a minor clan there. Lin Bei pursed his lips stubbornly. I don't want to fight for any celestial key. That doesn't sound fun at all. No deal. Young master, this is no trivial game, she chided. You did not experience the calamity of a century ago. You cannot fathom its cruelty. Another of the ladies chimed in as they walked. The Empress herself once said, the reason our Lin emperors live such ordinary secluded lives is to accumulate more power before the coming calamity, so they can buy you time when it arrives. You, young master, are heaven's chosen one to face that calamity. This is something no one can change. Lin Bei was completely unconvinced. He had heard these same lines so many times before. When he used to pester his elders, or beg his brothers and sisters to play with him, they all gave him the same excuses. Yet no matter how reluctant he was still whisked away, surrounded by the four ladies. They flew on swords toward the domain gateway. This was the center of the entire celestial domain, and the necessary path to all other provinces and realms. After landing at the city gates, the party of five headed straight for the teleportation formation. The teleporter was bustling with crowds at this time. Many people passing through to explore other domains. But just then, the appearance of a few youths disrupted the order.